exciting day today. We are planting
roses.
I know a lot of you garden friends have been like asking for the rose planting videos, and we're finally here. I know we've done a few rose plantings, maybe 2 videos.
Yeah, probably 2 videos.
And it's kind of crazy that we haven't done one when we're like, I'm calling it like Disney land of roses in San Antonio in Texas, guys, to be honest. But that's the reason why we haven't done any rose planting. Many reasons, but one of them is because we're checking out the area. And roses are like one of the main plants, I would say.
Definitely one of the main plants here in this climate.
They do amazing at that.
They really do amazing. Right now it's a little, we're getting to the warmer months, so some of the roses are not blooming as much around the areas. But we have a lot of them in containers still, and we want to get them in the ground already.
Yeah, we are having a very nice day.
Yeah, very nice today. It's a little bit overcast.
I don't know if y'all can tell, we're like all filthy and dirty already. We've been out here all morning. We've had a very nice long morning. It's been drizzling. It's been
drizzling. It's actually drizzling right now. Right. Not as bad, but it's...
Yeah, it's very pretty, and it's not hot at all. So, you know, this is a perfect day to go ahead and plant some stuff. We already planted other things, but we said, let's do the rose on video because, you know, we're going to plant a few, not all of them, but a few. Yeah. It's getting hot. Yeah. It's getting very hot. And in very hot climates, having small containers everywhere, I'm talking about like nursery size containers, the little tiny ones. What would you say, 3-gallon containers? We were forced to squeeze some of these roses, and actually we went hard on the roots too. We root pruned them so we could be able to transplant them into these small containers so we can bring them along and fit them in the moving truck when we moved from Virginia and came here to Texas. So a lot of these roses are screaming, let me out already. And I'm starting to see yellowish from the roses on the leaves. They're struggling right now. We didn't get to put compost like we always do, dress them up on the top and we just been neglecting them a bit.
There was a few things we didn't do, like Angie said, the compost and stuff like that, because they're not in proper containers, and, you know, removing some of the soil, adding some compost and fertilizer and all that. It's just something we weren't doing because they're in smaller containers, but we want to get them in the ground already.
And because they're in the small containers, sometimes they have to be watered twice on those super high 90s to triple digit, like up to 100, 102 here in San Antonio, Texas. And there's Mr. Squirrel Friend. He runs around a lot here. Yeah, he likes us. We like him. Yeah, that's causing the roses to just, every time we water consistently in those small ones, whatever they had in there that was keeping them happy is no longer in there no more.
So what you're going to see here is not something complete, not a finished product. This is just the bare bones of what we're going to do here in the garden. So you're not going to see us doing any mulch. You're not going to see us doing anything fancy. It's just getting them into the ground, and we're still working on how we want this area to look. So you're not going to see a final product, but you're going to see some roses get into the ground, and hopefully they'll start to do something a little bit more than what they're doing now, because you can see they've got quite a bit of growth. Some of them do have quite a bit of growth, but some of the other ones we're going to do, and we'll talk about those as we move on. Those are the ones that are struggling, and those are the ones we want to get in the ground for sure.
So I've already made plenty of holes in the ground. Yeah.
We've already dug our holes.
It's Ambrose. Ambrose's been digging all the holes before I think it's one he needs to do. And I told him, dig the hose ahead of time so we're not like going crazy, sweating and going insane. We just get to enjoy this video with you guys. So let's get going, and then we talk a little bit more about them. Okay, so I have like a pine cone from Virginia.
It's not many pine cones here.
So I'm finding them. It's funny because I'm finding them in all the pots. I had to go get my gloves. I hate gloves. I hate using gloves, but I am dealing with roses. Usually I'm really good with them. You might want to move.
I'm good.
But this right here that you see on the ground is Lady of Shalott. And I hope I said it right. I know I butcher the names. But Lady of Shalott has good sized thorns on the bottom. Yeah. So I'm laying her down because what I'm doing is as you can see me beat on her pot, I'm loosening the soil around her. So that way it can be easier to just kind of lift up. Yeah. She did put on, she's starting to bud up. She's been blooming, guys. Oh, and that happened very easily.
Oh yeah.
Look at that.
Oh, you got some roots.
I wish I could. I don't know if they can see it.
Got some roots coming out the bottom.
Oh my gosh, look at that, guys. Yeah. When can you plant roses? If you have that question right now, as y'all can see us doing this and it's hot in Texas already, you can do it any time of the year as long as the ground is not frozen.
Okay, so we had to make this hole a little bit bigger because we don't want to disturb this one. It's been in the pot, so it's got a lot more mass to it. So I didn't go too deep. I went just deep enough. So normally I would add some compost. I'm gonna add just a little bit at the bottom there, just to give it a little bit of extra drainage. Then we're gonna add some good old biotone.
They call it that magic for those roots.
A good scoop. Mm-hmm. And since we're already doing that, we're gonna add a good scoop of rose tone as well.
Rose tone, all right. Then, here comes where, let's hope it doesn't get me good. Where do I grab you from? All right. I usually like to grab plants from the crown. Be careful there.
Yeah.
But I do have gloves, guys. I don't want to break it either. Here we go, big girl.
Oh, that's a perfect size hole.
Slap
Look
me
at that.
right in the face. Okay. You're there. Can you tell me if
Let's see.
if it needs to be moved anywhere, any other way? This way or
I think that, well, maybe just a little bit
to where?
like this, not too much. So
It'll start to shape up too.
Yeah.
To this area.
So
Sorry.
it's actually planted at the perfect height. We don't want the crown too low or too high. We want it just right, just like the way it was in the container. But being that it's going in the ground here, this drains really, really well. So I'm not too concerned with any root rot or the crown actually rotten. But I want it to a good height because, again, we are going to mulch here later, and we don't want that crown to go under the mulch either. We want it to be pretty level, just a little bit above.
The soil is really good here. It drains very well. So that's what Ambrose is talking about.
Yep.
We won't have to worry too much about, at all about root rot. This guy's a climber too.
Yeah.
So it'll be trained against the fence. It can grow as a big bush,
Yep.
or it can actually just be trained against the fence. So we'll see as we see it grow.
Whoa.
But yeah, this is a beauty to have here.
Yeah, very excited to get this one in there. All right, so we're at the second location along the fence here. We're gonna put teasing Georgia here. Gotta dig the hole for this one because I'll show you later, but we want it to align it straight to where the entrance of this area is, along with where we're standing at the entrance of the garden and beyond that. So we want it right in the center. And so we moved it around a couple of times before we decided to put the hole in the ground.
The crazy thing about this one is that this rose has been in this pot since we first got it.
Yeah.
We bought it in North Carolina before moving to Virginia and potted in from bare root. Was it bare root?
It was a bare root, yeah.
Yeah. Into this pot. Trying to be careful not to break anything, but so I'm very curious on what's going on with the roots. I've pruned the roots from the bottom multiple times.
Yeah.
So we would never have to take it out of here. It's always performed great. But it's time. It's time for this, for this girl to do something. Girl or boy? What do you think teasing Georgia is?
I've always called her a girl.
A girl?
Yeah.
Okay. I think this is very little for how big teasing Georgia has gotten in the past for us. I'm taking off any weeds on there. Oh, there's a petunia, a super petunia Bordeaux at that planted in there. That was never in there. We never intentionally planted that, so somehow it just ended up there. But it's good. The roots are fine.
Yep.
We didn't mention when we brought them along with us, these roses were really, really big, and we ended up pruning them back really hard. So they've grown just, you know, these few months here. Okay, so Ambrose is putting he already did the compost, biotone, and flower tone.
Rose tone.
Rose tone. And we're gonna try to leave that petunia in there. The petunia. I giggle with that because I think it's just so funny that it just planted itself.
So I had to dig it a little bit deeper. So what we're doing is we're just taking that soil that I dug out a little bit deeper because it has a mix of biotone and flower tone also, and just trying to spread it around as much as we can before we top it off with the native soil.
After all this, we'll go ahead and water them really well.
Yep.
We have a few more to plant. So I guess we're moving to the other site. If we don't have enough time to talk about it on this video, if it gets too long, we'll go ahead and do another video right after this. So that way we can show you everyone and everything, all the roses, and let y'all know what this area is.
Yep.
What we're doing and how the rose has been doing. But yeah, let's maybe take some water, a water break.
Definitely a water break.
And then go over there. I feel like we're in slow motion. It's not hot. I just want y'all to understand that. I don't know if we're probably going to be looking like we're miserable, like, because I'm sweating like crazy, but it's humid in San Antonio. In Texas, it's so humid that you don't have to do anything. You don't have to be doing anything. As long as you're outdoors, even under the shade, you will be sweating.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no makeup. I don't even wear mousse. I don't wear anything on my hair, guys, because it's humid. The humidity just melts you away, and it makes you feel so slow, like...
Oh, yeah.
I guess because we're still getting used to it.
Definitely.
But believe me, it's a beautiful day, even though it might not look like it is.
Yeah.
All right, water break. So 4 more roses got planted. I'm gonna go ahead and show you, let you know which ones they are. This right here by the fence, the 3 are called Harlow Carr. They are very first DA roses that we bought a very long time ago. They've been with us many places by now, through time. But I love this rose so much, Harlow Carr, because it's a very tough rose and it's really good for hot. It loves a hot climate. It really loves the heat. It can take it. It's been blooming like crazy. Its color is just amazing, and it just grows like a little. It gets around like a boxwood once it starts to establish itself. But we'll talk more about that rose more. Let's show you the other 2 I have. It is my favorite too, rose, because of the color. I think it's a perfect color of pink. But like I was letting y'all know in the beginning, when we moved, we had to squeeze these guys, not just these, but a lot of other roses that we've had for years. We had to root prune them, and we had to put them in small containers so they can make the move in the moving truck all the way from Virginia to Texas. And they did great, but with time, it's getting hot here. It's getting drier in the pots. The pots are just getting completely dried up during the day, and sometimes I have to get water twice. And these guys are losing all the nutrients in those little pots. In hot climates, I don't like to have little pots because it just dries out too much, and you have to keep watering a lot, and that's just not beneficial for anyone. So yeah, if you see this, it has a lot of the yellow already because it needs nutrients. This is what we were talking about. they're starting to get yellow. You can see the veins on their on the leaves, and it's because of the heat, and it's because they are losing a lot of the nutrients. So we already fertilized them. We gave them some good stuff in there, the biotone to help them root. And once again, the rose tone, which is a fertilizer that we give them. We do it sometimes. We go ahead and do monthly, and also we gave them some compost, just some good rich compost, so that way they can be fed good. They can just grow good. So I'm gonna go ahead and deadhead later. I'm just showing y'all right now because I left them on so y'all can see they are really, really prolific bloomers. It's an amazing rose. And later with time, we'll go ahead and talk a little bit more about them and why we chose to put them here. So I'm very excited because we brought in, I'm gonna come this way. We did add a new rose, 2 new roses to this garden, and we had already planted it a while back. I think we did a video. We didn't finish it all. Yep. I don't know if Amber's is going to put that in here. But this is the first one we planted in this little area as we decided to put the arch here not long ago. And this right here is Peggy Martin. So I've heard a lot of great things about Peggy Martin, and Peggy Martin is very well known in the South because, they call it the Katrina rose. It's very tough rose. It has a amazing story. I'm sure a lot of y'all know about the story later with time. Like I said, we'll come around and talk about all these roses, but I wanted a tough grower. I wanted somebody that was going to go ahead and fill this arch quite fast with time. And this guy was very small when we bought him, and he's already, put on quite a growth. So then not long ago, I told Ambrose, I made up my mind. I do want Peggy Martin for sure. Let's go ahead and get a second one. But around this time of year, where we get our roses, there was only available the smaller size, which it's okay because it's a fast grower and it's already starting to shoot up that cane. So I'm happy with this, and I love the color of Peggy Martin. It clusters up, and it has a very pretty pink, and as the flower starts to fade away, it's all in one cluster, and you just keep seeing it, open new blooms, and it's nice and vibrant pink, but then you start to see that pink fade, and then you see it into like a very kind of clear, I don't know, like a white. It just looks beautiful, guys. And with time, we'll show you. And I'm sure a lot of you rose lovers have seen Peggy Martin. She's amazing. So, yeah, this is the beginning of what we're going to call back here the rose garden. We're going to mix in perennials, other fun plants. But this is the beginning of it, and we're very happy with this. I'm going to get Ambrose to go ahead and put the camera somewhere so we can sit down and just talk a little bit more before we close this video. You covered yourself up.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's kind of funny because I actually use this for a number of reasons. We had a comment, I don't know, on one of the other videos where somebody asked what's up with the scarf. It's not a scarf. It's actually called a shalott, and I bought a whole bunch of these when I was in Afghanistan. I use them for many, many purposes. One being the dust. I have really bad acid reflux, and it's only gotten worse from deployment, burning materials, burning different things, the dust out there, fuel from the jet, from the flight line and stuff like that. So I use this quite a bit. When I was doing a bioturn earlier, the dust was kicking up, and that kind of messes with the acid reflux. So I got to take a lot of Tums, and this helps, obviously, protecting me from breathing the stuff in.
And also, your neck.
It also protects you from, the heat, the sun, things of that nature. You can wet it as well. You put it around your neck, and when you go on long hikes in the desert, it's beneficial. But it's one of the main reasons why I use it. Yeah.
So there you go to that person that made fun of Ambrose.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, let's get back to the roses. So I'm very happy.
Yeah.
With where we planted things. I feel a relief now just because I know that they're in the ground. I know they're going to get the water that they need, and they're fed well. They're going to be happy. And I think I was more scared of them drying out too much in those tiny little pots, and I bigger chance of losing them, right?
Definitely. So, put them in the ground is great because we know this ground absorbs quite a bit of water, and it holds quite a bit of water. Deeper, obviously not on the surface, and that's another Another question I'll answer, because somebody asked, is grass not grow in Texas? Yes, grass does grow in Texas.
Yeah.
It's just, again, I'd rather focus on the structure. I don't want to invest $200-300 on a pallet of grass or grass seed or fertilizers and all that stuff if we're still digging, walking
just to
around
rip
this,
it off,
ripping it up and doing all kinds of stuff. That's the last thing I want to invest in right now.
We've taken our time with this garden. You know, we're taking our time. We just got here. Honestly, how I see it, we shouldn't even be doing anything until our whole season passes by.
Yeah.
But, you know, there is things that we have in small containers, and it gets very, very hot here. And I would say, like, because we've lived in cold cold climates, it's like the reverse. If you live in a cold climate and there's nowhere you can place your containers to winterize. A lot of times I remember I would be running around trying to put whatever small, plants that were in small containers into the ground so they could make it through that winter.
Oh, yeah.
The thing here is reverse for us now.
Yeah, definitely.
Before it gets way too hot, where they might die in that little container, nursery container, I'd rather just have them in the ground.
Yep.
Whoever I can start putting in the ground now, can they make it in large containers? Yes, they can. And a lot of the roses that we have are in large containers are going to do fine because there's a lot of more soil around them. They'll do great in there. But with time, we'll see who else we're going to put in the ground. But I just wanted to have some fun too, because you guys have been asking for videos of roses. I know a lot of y'all are like, where are the roses? And we'll do a video after this one.
I'll be honest, I wish we could bring a lot more rose videos. It's just, like I said, we're taking our time with this. And
we want to know where we want to put them too.
We do appreciate everybody's patience. But,
the design.
It's a process.
I want to let you know, for the next 2 weeks, if you're planting specially right now, make sure you are watering these guys well. If maybe I might skip a day, from watering if the soil is really still moist. But I try to give them a little bit at least every day for the next 2 weeks. Just so until they get established. And then after that, we've had some roses in the ground where we don't even touch. We haven't even touched for a while on watering because they've been doing great here. But that's it. We're going to do that right now, water them before they start to show signs of they need water. But any questions on any of the planting or anything that we did, go ahead and leave it down below. We're going to get started with showing you all the other rest of the roses. If not today, tomorrow we'll roll out the other one. We'll do another one, just talking about the roses and showing them to you.
So that's going to do it for the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.